It's not every day you notice a 12 megapixel camera packed into a mobile phone. For the longest of times, mobile phones had the stigma of producing poor images when it comes to their camera taking capabilities. Last year, Samsung released the Pixon, which changed the way we thought about that. Now, roughly a year later, we have a Samsung Pixon12, which is the successor to that device. It supports some upgraded features and enhancements that hopes to be a truly great successor to the original. Samsung didn't stray too far away from the original's form factor and design. The slate form factor is intact here. The only thing different between this one and the original is the fact that it's a little bit more narrow when it comes to dimensions. The thickness and also length is roughly the same. The material that they use is pretty good. We definitely like the feel of all the stuff that they use on this phone. The front has a plastic-like touch feel to it. While we did like the chrome border around the device, it just accentuates it. And on the back, you have this milled aluminum finish, that does a good job of covering the battery and also protecting all the components. And you have this fake leather material, which just adds to the overall general appeal of the digital camera look. As far as weight goes, it's not that heavy at all for this type of device. It has a relative good weight, solid construction, and we definitely enjoyed, we definitely like the way it's overall constructed. We have to really commend Samsung consistently utilizing the active matrix OLED screens on most of their devices, and the Pixon12 fits that category. First thing that really stands out when you turn on the device is the 3.1-inch screen. Unfortunately, though, it's a little bit of a step down from the originals in size, but the overall quality is above and beyond. Colors are deep and vivid. Texts are clear thanks to the bumped up resolution of 800 by 480 pixels. So, images are highly detailed. At the same time, the resistive screen is quite accurate and responsive. We very rarely had any mispresses with it. On the other front portion of the device, you have your send and end keys, and also the middle button here is used to go back, or when you hold it down, it actually launches the Task Manager application. And on top, you have your front-facing video camera for video calls, and also the speaker. When you flip over to the side, you have your micro SD card slot for easy access, the unlock and lock button. On the other side, you have most of your camera functions. This is the shutter. You have your dedicated camera button to, when you press that, it'll automatically run the application even if the phone is locked. And you have your volume rocker, which also doubles as the digital zoom and out function. On the top, we're glad to see that Samsung utilizes a micro USB port here for charging and PC connection. And on the back, you have your speakerphone, which is tucked away underneath this fake leather. And of course, you have the the 12 megapixel camera with Xenon flash and Power LED on the back. When you remove the cover, it exposes the SIM card slot and also the battery compartment. If you previously used a Samsung phone, you'll be happy to know that the latest version of TouchWiz is found on the Pixon12. Now, this has made a lot of improvements over the original. In terms of speed and navigation, it's very quick, lightning quick actually, and very few times it actually does stutter or slow down. Everyone knows about the widgets on the side. It's driven by that system. It gives a nice personalized look. Even placing widgets onto the home screen, it's really fast, and there's no laggy or choppy effect to it. So we definitely like that fact of the improved speed. Now, there are 3 home screens you could access by using a swiping gesture from side to side. And you can place a variety of different widgets on screen just to give it a personalized look. Even going through the menus, there is some nifty looking transition effects used throughout it. So it does give it a nice eye candy look to it. Now, the Samsung Pixon12 draws that fine line of being considered as a smartphone. That's because it's able to run multiple applications in the background. So let's go into our main menu, which is displayed in this grid-like format. Now, you could go through the different applications by using a swiping gesture. So you just press just touch one of the icons and it'll automatically launch the application. If you want to give it a personalized look, you could click the top right button and move the icons around to your preference. Now, what we mean by being a smartphone, emulating the features of a smartphone, is like when you run an application and you hit the middle back button and you run another application, You'll notice when you get back to the main menu, you see the icons have this circular pattern going around it to indicate it's running in the background. So when you hold down the middle hardware button, the back button, it'll launch the task manager. And just like WebOS on the Palm Pre, you could swipe through the different applications. You could close down each individual one or end all applications to save, increase speed, and close out the applications. It's just a nice touch that we like with Samsung's TouchWiz 2.0 interface. Creating messages is a simple procedure, and it's probably the same way we've seen in other devices recently. So from here, from messages, you could create an email or also text message. You could input text using either the keypad for a more traditional option. You also have these three options for writing full screen and these writing box 1, writing box 2. It's a handwriting recognition option. It does a fairly nice, good job for recognizing what you're writing in, but unfortunately writing box 1 and 2 we feel is just useless. The best and preferred option for typing in information is using the full Qwerty Keyboard. It's quite responsive, and when you do press something on the screen, it's accompanied with a vibration and also highlights what character you're pressing. As far as emails go for the Pixon12, unfortunately, it's a very manual process. You have to actually put in your email address and password, and even have to input server addresses just to get up and running. We just feel as though that you could just put in your information and the device will automatically find it for you, but that's not the case with the Pixon12. Users of the Pixon12 will be greeted to a WebKit-based web browser, which does a really nice job of being able to navigate on the phone itself. So it's really quick and responsive. Once a page is fully loaded, you could really easily scroll up and down throughout the device. And this does actually support Flash, so if you go to YouTube, you'll see the videos play within the Windows itself and not on just the mobile website. Zooming in, you could actually zoom in by holding down the screen and moving up and out. Unfortunately, multi-touch is not supported, but this option fits well. And of course, the one gripe that we did have with the web browser is the fact that you have to double tap on a link just to execute it. So we just wish that just pressing it once would have been an easier fix for us. But overall, it lays out the website, our website specifically, in just the same manner that is on a desktop. So we do commend Samsung on improving the web browser on here. Now, the single best feature about the Pixon12 is, of course, its ability to take photos. And when we say photos, it takes magnificent and highly detailed images. Now, you could run the application by pressing the dedicated hardware button on top or going through the menus. We just like the fact that you could quickly take photos on the fly just by pressing that. Once you're in here, you have the interface, which is the standard one we've been seeing with most TouchWiz devices. You have these icons on the left and right hand sides. You can modify a bunch of different options, for example the shooting modes, scene modes, and even the resolution, focus mode, ISO levels. Just a plethora of things you can modify to fine-tune your photos. Now, taking the photo is really simple. You just hold down the shutter button on the top right side so it focuses in on the image, and of course hold it down all the way to take the shot. Now, the reason why colors just look vivid and luscious with the images that we take is partly thanks to the Xenon flash that's on the device. Images did come out astoundingly clear and highly lots of detail in it. When we compare it to an 8 megapixel Canon camera, we were just astounded by how well the Pixon12 actually lived up to its expectation. So this device can definitely replace a standard point and shoot if you prefer this option. Not to be outdone by its photo taking ability, we were just astounded how well the Pixon12 takes video on the device. Now, the thing that really impresses us is just that there's no stutter or lag when you take videos at the highest resolution, 720 by 480. There's a lot of detail, and there's no lagging effect when you take videos on the device. Even when you're changing different lighting conditions from low light to dark, bright light, it does a good job of retaining a steady frame rate, and we're just impressed by how well colors match up and also just the overall quality and detailed videos that were produced by the Pixon12. Now, the one area that the Pixon12 failed to live up to our expectation was its phone call quality. Our callers sounded very faint and weak even when we placed the volume on its high setting. On top of that, there was a slight echo in our conversations we could hear. And when you do use the speakerphone, it just lacks any vibrancy or tone to it, so it's just a little bit on the weaker side as well. For battery life, we managed to get 3 days use on normal use. That's using it for phone calls, taking an extreme amount of photos, and also browsing the websites. Now, we figured we'd get a little bit less because we had it only on Edge. Unfortunately, no 3G for us. It did manage to hold a pretty good reception here in the greater Philadelphia region, and we had very few issues with it losing any signal strength. Media lovers will like the Pixon12 because its ability to play video smoothly without any hiccups. For example, it does support a variety of different formats. And on top of that, the high-resolution screen does a great job of showing clarity and detail at the same time, producing very smooth video playback. If you're into music, though, there's a bunch of different stuff that you could actually do. You could run the application to the music player specifically. Now, it kind of emulates an interface we've seen before. We do like its equalizer option, so it gives a nice look. But when you turn the phone sideways, it does this almost cover flow-like look. It's not as polished as cover flow on the iPhone, but it's just a nice touch for this type of device. We're confident to say that the Samsung Pixon12 definitely breaks down that stigma of camera phones having poor image quality. Now, the 12 megapixel camera found on the device definitely makes for some outstanding looking photos. They're highly detailed and colorful, and can really truly replace the standard point and shoot camera. On top of that, in the 1 year since the original Pixon's release, Samsung has taken the time to really fine-tune this device and make some enhancements to make it a really great successor. For example, TouchWiz 2.0 just makes for a smooth experience on the device. There was no time we ever saw it lag or slow down. On top of that, the addition in hardware, for example, the better screen technology, high resolution, and also Wi-Fi packed on, just makes for an all-around well device. We can definitely see people using this take mostly for photos, and can really make a change in the way we perceive cameras and cell phones together.